Hello, guys, and welcome back to Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. We're going to be talking about the Indianapolis Colts, who will be playing the Los Angeles Rams here in a little bit, in a couple hours. Super excited for that. There are some new injuries that have drummed up for the Colts that have kind of changed the way I feel about this game. I know I said earlier in the week that the Colts were going to dominate in this performance. Starting to see some cracks in some injuries and things like that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Duke Notre Dame game last night, because really a great finish for Notre Dame. Happy to see them get the win. And also a little bit about the Indiana Hoosiers and what they need to do to even be somewhat competitive in the Big Ten. All that coming up on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. But first, let's thank our sponsor, Reynolds Wrap. Reynolds Wrap is an American company making aluminum foil that can be used for all sorts of different things. Use it to store food in the freezer, store food when it's hot, transfer food from the grill, make cleanup a breeze with Reynolds Wrap. Put this over your trays, put this over anything, and just easily wad it up, throw it in the trash can. Choose Reynolds Wrap, an American company, great American aluminum foil that has 1,000,001 uses. I dare you to find more uses for this stuff. So let's get into talking about the Indianapolis Colts. So earlier in the week, I said that the Colts were going to win 41-10. My prediction, I still think the Colts are going to be able to pull this game out, but I think it's going to be more like a 20-17 or 14-17 type of game now. So earlier in the week, Ryan Kelly went out and practiced with the team. I need to learn more about the concussion protocol, because it's like they have to get cleared by an independent neurologist and then have 24 hours after the practice and then be cleared by a neurologist. So Ryan Kelly, I was under the assumption, I guess on like Thursday and Friday, listening to Kent Sterling and different news reports, that I saw that Ryan Kelly was, practicing and he was going to be cleared to play. He is ruled out for this game. So French will start at center. He's done a great job so far. But the big guy who's out in this game is Bernhard Raimann. Man, I totally blanked out on what his injury is. But Bernhard Raimann out for this game, not playing. That is the big concern for me. Left tackle. The other two things is that Quentin Nelson has been dealing with a toe injury, and then Braden Smith has been dealing with a hand injury. So you just look across the line, and you have Braden Smith dealing with a hand injury, and he also had a knee injury early in the training camp that he was trying to get over as well. So a little bit banged up there. Ryan Kelly, who, I don't know if you knew this, but I just found this out. Like, Ryan Kelly's 30 years old. He's the oldest player on the Colts. I saw that in the Indy Star. It seems hard to believe, but I mean, that's what they printed. Ryan Kelly, 30 years old. Colts are I think they're the fourth youngest team in the NFL. So Colts are a young team. But Ryan Kelly being out, he was out last week. So, I mean, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But then Bernhard Raimann, that's a big loss, because he's really come on and played really, really well the second half of last season and this season. And I've seen like interviews with him that Kent Sterling's done. Just seems like a great guy that really wants to, put his stamp on the position and get a lot better, and just a real professional guy. So Raimann is out. The key in this game is still going to be the Colts have to run the ball and stop their running game and make the Rams one-dimensional. If they can do that and make Matthew Stafford throw the ball more than 45 times in this game, it's going to be their best chance to win. But not too much else. I've talked a lot about the Colts this week and this Rams game. It's going to be, well, we're just going to find out what it's going to be now. Sometimes when there's injuries like this, sometimes you don't know, like Braden Smith with this hand injury, or Quentin Nelson. Quentin Nelson's had the toe for a few weeks. The Braden Smith hand injury is another one, and he is the one guy on the Colts that has struggled at times. He's had some bad quarters getting holding calls and not being able to completely do his job out there. So hopefully Braden Smith can overcome this and play a really great game. So go Colts. Super excited about watching the game, and just wanted to update a few of the injuries and what I think about the offensive line and what's happening. And hopefully we get the victory today, go to 3-1. But I'm going to briefly talk about the Indiana Hoosiers. Got annihilated by Maryland yesterday. What does Indiana have to do to bring in some better players? Like, I know Tom Allen is recruiting. He coached high school football in Florida, so he's doing a lot of his recruiting in Florida. Is that the best way for Indiana to get good players? I'm amazed, like a school like Indiana being on the Big Ten network, that they can't attract a somewhat decent quarterback to the team from even like a school like Stanford or some of these teams that have been kind of dumped by their prospective leagues, with all of this realignment. I'm super surprised because if anybody knows, Big Ten Network gets a lot of views, like just across the board. Big Ten Network is one of the most watched college football channels. That's why they get the big money to join the Big Ten. They just get a ton of TV money for being in the Big Ten compared to other conferences. So what does Indiana have to do to improve? I just have a hard time watching this team play. They're just so awful. But Notre Dame squeaked out a nail biter. The whole second half of that game, when the game started, I thought Notre Dame was really going to seize control of this game very quickly. And they just couldn't do it. Duke really took it to him on the ground in the second half and was able to bleed clock and was able to just like kind of bleed the game away and kind of take the wind out of the sails of Notre Dame. And when they went ahead 14-13 and then Notre Dame had that 4th and 16, to me, I don't know what the coaches for Duke told their players, but to me, you have to have some of those guys in zone on a 4th and 16 and just be like, have some guys right at the line, because Hartman took off, ran for the first down. Then Notre Dame ran the ball in like a play later on the ground and took the lead 21-14. And that's all she wrote. Felt really bad for Duke just the way they lost. But Notre Dame lost a heartbreaker last week. It was just one of those games, one of those college games that Notre Dame really had to win. And they did it. So can breathe a sigh of relief. That's all I have for you today. Go Colts and stay classy out there, Hoosier and Colts fans.